So welcome to another live show. This is the third live show. And before I forget, I'd like to thank the moderators for moderating. Without them, of course, maybe the chat would get totally out of control. So thank you very much. And thank you for everyone else for showing up. Looks like we got a lot more viewers this time than last time. The last time wasn't too bad. I think it was like just over 100. We've got 185 right now. So that's wonderful. So what I'm going to do here, this is going to be a really quick show, just a half an hour. So I'll just try to cover as many things as I can in this show. What I'm going to do is have 3 segments, and each segment will be around 10 minutes each. The first segment is going to be taking your questions. I'm going to just try and spot them in the chat and answer them as I see fit, basically. So we're going to do that first. And then after that, I'm going to maybe go over some of the stuff that I did, video reviews on, maybe some polls and other things that I did during the week. And then, to end it, I'm going to go over some laptop coolers, which are from Antec. So I'll go through a few things with you about those later on. So let's start, first of all, with your questions. And by the way, I'm going to ask you a question here first, and I'll start a poll about notebook coolers. Do you think that actually they work? So I'll start that poll now. Hopefully this will work. Poll, there it goes. It's the first time I did a poll on one of these live shows. Look at that. Just like that. That's pretty cool. Votes are just pouring in, just like water. Okay, so to answer your questions, for that I'm going to go back to RogerReynolds.com/live because it's much easier to follow there because the chat room is much bigger. So 10 minutes. Okay, folks, start pouring your questions to me. If you want me to answer something, come on, give it to me. Which is the best GTX 460? You know what? I would have to say either Palette or EVGA. This person's ATI HD5770 is very unstable. Maybe case air circulation, maybe it's too hot in there, maybe it's your environment, maybe it's the cooler on the card. The Corsair 800D or the Cooler Master Half-X. I would probably lean towards the Cooler Master Half-X. That's a fantastic case, but still the Corsair 800D is a brilliant case as well. How much did they get this chair for? I actually did a Q&A video on this chair. I got it at Costco. I think it was like maybe $100 or $200. It wasn't that expensive. Best configuration for solid state drive and a hard drive. Not quite sure what you mean there. Best gaming setup, to be honest, and the quickest setup will be RAID 0. Oh, this is a good question. Should I wait till November and get the new ATI 6000 series cards, or should I go ahead and buy an NVIDIA GTX 400 series card now? You know what? You can continue waiting and waiting and waiting and get nothing, and, well, that's no good. So, you're probably going to have to wait till November or December possibly for the new ATI 6000 cards, series cards, and by then, they're going to be pretty expensive, so it's hard to say. I would probably go ahead now if it was me and get maybe a 400 series card from NVIDIA, and maybe then in January or February of next year, sell that card and maybe get, the 6000 series from ATI. Is that Mafia 2 in the background? Well, yes, it is. A good game. I actually played the demo. It's quite nice. It's something like a Grand Theft Auto in a way, because you can run people over. Of course, the police come and chase you, which is very similar to GTA. Although I don't play GTA, it is. It's pretty cool. I know that I did play Mafia, the first one, and I thought it was pretty good. And this one is as well. The graphics are just amazing. The best way to overclock an Intel i7 30 to 4 gigahertz. Well, get a good motherboard and, you know, just overclock the memory and the multiplier, and that's pretty much it. Looking at the stream here now, I don't know if the stream just stopped or if it's just me on my end. Stream's still going? Everything's okay? Yes? Is it okay now? It's okay? Okay, yeah, I thought I saw something as well. Okay, we've got over 200 viewers on. That's great. I'll keep answering questions here. A few more minutes for that. Tons of echo. Really? I'm just checking my audio here. I got it turned off. It's fine. There should be no echo. No echo for you? Okay. Well, no echo for me either. Like I would know because I don't have the speakers turned on. Okay, let's keep answering. iPhone 4 or Nexus 1? Nexus 1! Android, baby. Forget iPhone 4. RAID 0 versus trim support. Probably go with RAID 0. Just reading through the posts here. You know, I don't know what the top 3 MP3 players are, and to be honest, I don't really care a whole lot. You know what I would get? I would get a smartphone. Forget about MP3 players. When will solid-state drives come down in price? Well, you know what? They have come down in price considerably, and you can get you know, lower capacity ones as well if you want to use them, for example, in a RAID 0 setup just for C drive. That would be fine, and a very blistering fast setup that would be. Sorry if I'm missing some of your questions here. I'll maybe get them to them in the next live show, but you know, I'm just trying to spot them as I see them go by here. Crossfire 5970s, or I believe it was a couple of NVIDIA GTX 460s. I would go with probably a couple of 5970s. Those are, you know, brilliantly fast cards, yeah. This is also an interesting question. Does the GTX 460 in SLI beat a single 480? Well, you know what? I have not tested a 480 personally, and from what I understand, from correspondence with Palette at least, and that's one of my NVIDIA sponsors, they unfortunately, I don't believe, will be producing a 480. So I more than likely I will not be testing a 480, but the 460 that they sent me, Palette, it's amazing, and they're also sending me another one so I can do, you know, an SLI setup with 3 displays. That is just an amazing card. The GTX 460 by far is the best bang for the buck video card on the market, and I mean, everyone's talking about it. It's just brilliant. I would personally go with a couple of them in SLI, to be honest, because, you know, you can overclock them. They're not they don't consume as much power, and they don't get as hot. So that's the advantages, really. And they're affordable, very affordable. You know, I'm not sure if the Corsair H50 fan and radiator in one of the top 120mm fan areas on the Nexus Vulcan case. It should fit. It shouldn't be a problem. And what you can do to make it fit is really to put not the radiator next to the case, but put the fan, you know, on the case. So the case, the fan, and then the radiator. You could try that. A TN panel or an IPS for gaming. You know what? TN panels are great for gaming. They're cheap, affordable. They, are amazing for gaming because you don't get any ghosting, and they're very, very fast. So for that, if you want to save a few bucks, I would definitely go with TN panel. Unless you, of course, have money to spend, and you want to go with an IPS. They're better in a way because the viewing angles and better color and so on and so forth. But this person has an NVIDIA 8600 GT. The game crashes and gives me blue screens. Boy, that's a pretty old card. I know maybe you don't have a huge budget to buy another one, but that's what I would suggest you do. Save up some money and get a GTX 460. Intel's Sandy or AMD's Bulldozer. Either or, whatever your budget, is really. I tend to stick with Intel for some of the hardcore stuff that I do, like video editing and gaming and that type of thing. But I do have an AMD system, and this is what this web camera is now streaming is using. That system is. By the way, if you want to find out what I have for systems, you can go to www.rodsrig.com. Okay, those 10 minutes are up. So let's do another 10 minutes. Now, I did video reviews on a couple of products this week. The Spider from Lian, an amazing case, at least I thought so. And also, I did kind of, not really so much a review, but an unboxing and mini review of the little GVC, or JVC, or however you want to pronounce it, HD camcorder. This is a flash camcorder. I was very impressed with this little thing. It's just incredible. I'm going to take a few questions now from you on those two video review products. Maybe there is something in the video reviews or the unboxing and so on and so forth that I did not answer, and maybe I can answer it for you now. So if you have anything specifically to ask me on either the Lian Pitstop T1 Mini ITX test bench, which is behind me, by the way, this little thing here, or questions on the JVC camcorder. Any questions on the video reviewed stuff? Seems like nobody's interested in this stuff at all. Okay, well, let me cover some stuff here, specifically about the camcorder. This little camcorder is quite incredible. It shoots HD video. But something that I did not mention in the unboxing video and the mini video review was that this, while it says 1080 on the box, doesn't actually do 1080p. It does 1080i. Now still, that is very acceptable for a little tiny product like this. It's, and this is around, I think you can get these for around $300 in the United States and around $350 here in Canada. So really, really good. You can also fit a couple of SD cards, very common memory, flash cards, in the bottom here. And I would recommend Class 10 or Class 6 SD cards for this as well, just to make sure that when you are filming at the highest resolution that it does stream properly to the SD cards. That's something that I definitely would recommend with that. Anyone have any questions specifically on this little tiny baby right here? Maybe some of you are interested in doing video reviews or documenting, I don't know, something in your life and posting it on Ustream or on YouTube or other social sites. This would be a nice little camera for that. How much is the cam? Around $300 US, $350 Canadian. Everybody's asking. There wasn't a rating, no, for this because I didn't do a video review on it. It was more of an unboxing. I actually purchased this myself. They did not send me this. I actually purchased this myself and just, thought that you guys would be interested in maybe watching me, unbox it and do a mini video review on it. It's not so much, I guess, video review, more of a mini, review for my own personal benefit, really. But yeah, it's certainly a nice camcorder, and like I said, if you are interested in doing video reviews or that type of thing, this would certainly be affordable for a lot of people. I mean, $300, well, it's a fair chunk of change, but still, a lot of people could get into doing video reviews and other documenting. It doesn't have to be video reviews; could be really doing anything. It records in MTS. That's a good question. Just like my other larger camcorder, which is the Sony. Let me grab that right now. It still can't come close to this thing here. I mean, obviously, but and by the way, this is what I use to shoot most of my video reviews with. I'm not using this, obviously, but I'm using this, and this is a little old now. Actually, it's the Sony. It's the HDR SR11 1080p camcorder, a very nice camcorder. Got the larger battery, touchscreen, and so on and so forth. This is quite a nice camera. But usually when you're looking at Sony, you're looking at over $1,000 for their stuff, and some of the higher end stuff you're looking at over $2,000. And of course, you can go up from there, but. Just looking at some of the questions here. The bitrate, I believe, is like 24 megabytes a second, I believe. That's the highest quality. You can go down from there and it's less. So you need to have, like a Class 6 or a Class 10 SD cards for it to really save properly. Otherwise, it just kind of cuts out and stops. Was it a great kick-ass or a 100% kick-ass product? You know what? Well, first of all, guess. What do you think I would rate this? Kick-ass, great. I would give this a kick-ass because for the money, how small it is very compact, and it does shoot amazingly well. I mean, consider, $1,000 or $300 or around there. This thing is just incredible for the price. So yeah, I would have, if I was video reviewing it, doing a video review on it, I would have probably given it a kick-ass. Oh, and something else that I should have mentioned about the Spider case was that it actually comes with a little speaker, so you can attach the speaker to the motherboard when you do it. But just to recap on this, in case of some of you might have missed my video review on this this week, this is the Lian T1 Spider case. It's put together. I had to actually assemble this, but it shouldn't take too long, like a half an hour to put together. And that will be with all the components. It shouldn't really take that long at all. The motherboard, the hard drive, a 3.5-inch hard drive, it would have to be a mini ITX motherboard though, and also a slim optical disc drive goes on this part right here, which is, I guess, the body. At the back is where you would put a standard ATX power supply, so that's good. It fits a standard ATX power supply and a standard 3.5-inch hard drive. Although, I don't know why they didn't have an option here for a 2.5-inch hard drive, but you can get adapters for that 3.5-inch, 2.5-inch, and that should possibly work. And of course, all the legs on this, you can adjust them. There's thumb screws. There's a bracket right here and another leg right here. You know, there's a huge long leg and a bracket right there. So you can adjust the legs as you want to. Also adjust the motherboard, and as well, the power supply swings up and down. So this is a pretty neat. I was very, very impressed with this. I gave it 100% kick-ass because of the creativity. It's nice to see, you know, companies doing this type of thing. It's very inventive, very creative. It certainly sparks a lot of interest. And it's, you know, in this case, it's all aluminum. It's extremely lightweight. So yeah, I think it's just a brilliant, brilliant case. If you're looking for a mini ITX case, can you imagine having something like this? Maybe not necessarily this color. You can get this in red and silver on next to your, you know, 60-inch TV. It would be just amazing for a home theater PC setup. Just unbelievable. Okay, well, we're almost done here. Another 10 minutes. And for this, I'm going to go over 3 new laptop coolers from Antec. And the poll is still running, I believe. The question on the poll is, do notebook coolers work? See, that reminder sparked a few people. Vote on the poll. Do you yes. Yes. But why do they work? Does anyone understand actually why they work? A lot of notebooks these days are very powerful. They can get extremely hot. Very, very hot. Especially if you're in a hot environment. And you know what? Sometimes you don't even need to get a laptop cooler. What you can do is just elevate your notebook. The 2 feet at the back, just, you know, put something elevated so the intake fans at the bottom can intake cool air. That's pretty much all notebook coolers do, except, you know, they're pretty fancy and so on and so forth. So, the poll does not show how many people voted, but it does show for each particular vote. So I'll give you that right now. 41% say yes, they work. And 32% say maybe. And 42% say yes. 40% approximately say maybe. And 20% say no. They do work. Yes, they do work. Now, they might lower your, your temperature of your notebook much, but they do work. Sometimes they will, though, especially on the notebook. If you have a very powerful one, it will work amazingly well. Sometimes, 5 to 15 degrees. And not only just the CPU, we're talking about everything inside of the notebook. So, the 3 Antec coolers that I have, and these are fairly new from what I understand. This is the Antec Notebook Cooler Mini. Now, this particular product comes with a fan, and all it does is really elevate the back of your notebook, and the fan, of course, assists in getting rid of the warm air that's coming out of your notebook. There's an 80 millimeter blower in this, and I would imagine this is pretty inexpensive. That's the first one. And it says here this one can fit 17-inch notebooks. Have a look at the back here if you want to. Some more information about it. This is the other notebook from Antec. It's the Notebook Cooler Basic. But you know what? This looks really, really nice. It's aluminum. It fits notebooks up to 14 inches in width. Yep, it's pretty slim, and this one does not come with a fan. There's absolutely no fan on this, but you know what? You don't really need a fan, to be honest. Because if you add a fan, that's more power drain, and also it's more noise. I kind of like this design myself. This looks really nice overall, and you know, can fit pretty large laptops or notebooks. And the final one is this pretty large one right here. Now, the notebook would go on this one, obviously, right? Both of these. And this one here, it wouldn't. It would just go on kind of like on the back to elevate it. It kind of still goes under, but it's a little different design. But this one here, the notebook would go right on top of it. Pretty big fan in this. It's like a 111 millimeter blower fan in this. I think it's a plastic design overall, and it fits suitable for notebooks with screens up to 15 inches. So there you have it. There's the 3 new laptop coolers from Antec. And I don't know if I can cancel this poll and create another one right now and maybe see how many of you out there actually have one of these, or not one of these necessarily, but I don't think I can do this. I think if I stop the poll and recreate it, it will cancel the poll. I'm not quite sure if the poll results will stay up after the recording is done or what. I'm not quite sure on that. Well, we've only got a few minutes left, so I think I'll wrap it up. Next show, I should have something fairly interesting, something pretty unique. Contacted by a company about a product which at first I was like, that's a little weird. But it should make an interesting topic for hopefully next Saturday's live show. And it's good to see that there are a number of viewers here. There's over 200 viewers, and I'm pretty pleased about that. I'd like to see more, to be honest, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's not bad at all. That's wonderful. So hopefully next week and the weeks following, I'll get more and more and more. But more polls, Rodney. There's lots of people here in the chat too. I mean, really, it's kind of nuts in a way, because there's 100. There looks to be like the chat is kind of confusing in a way, because the viewers is 121. I'm seeing viewers at the top at 118, and there's so many guests. So there's a lot of people in here, which is nice. There's like the chat area is telling me 121 viewers, and the guests is 146, so that's good to see. I'm pleased. And thank you for showing up, and thanks to the mods as well for them for helping out here as well. So that's it for this live show, and I hope to see you in 1 week. Take care.